K-Pop Demon Hunters, now streaming on Netflix, was directed by Chris Applehands, director of Wish Dragon, and Maggie Kang, who is a first-time director but did animation for the Lego Ninjago movie, Rise of the Guardians, and Puss in Boots. They both also wrote it along with Danya Jimenez and Hannah McMechen. This movie has gotten very popular lately, despite the fact that its title just screams, "We're trying to cash in on a current trend." A lot of that stems from the fact that it does indeed cash in on that trend, including with its chart-topping singles, but also because, surprise, it's actually a good movie. It's about a K-pop girl group that moonlights as demon hunters. But the demon realm brings out a new weapon against them, a K-pop boy group made of demons. A pleasantly cheesy concept that leads to a lot of fun. It's from Sony Animation, the studio behind Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it brings much of that same feel to it. It has the same 3D animation that looks like 2D animation, and it's just as stylized, except this time it feels stylized after anime instead of comic books. And it also has those movies' energy. The action has that same kinetic feel to it, which is helped by its soundtrack, and even the other moments feel lively and fun thanks to the animation. It has a decent sense of humor, and it even excels in the quieter moments, including a romance subplot. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's not as good as the animated Spider-Man movies, but that's an extremely high bar. It's fun, lively, well animated, and has a good soundtrack.
When the world is in trouble, when our future is in danger, we call upon one man. But when he's busy, he calls 5 girls. Columbia Pictures presents The Spice Girls.
All right, we're coming.
Spice World.
See ya, hold tight.
The boys are coming. Go to hell.
Something terrible has happened.
3 of your young ladies and Miss McCraw are missing on the rock.
What happened?
Well, now, Mrs. Appleyard, that's just the trouble. Nobody knows what happened.
And now, our feature presentation.
Weapons is from writer and director Zach Kreger, director of Barbarian. Also a big member of the Canadian comedy sketch show The Whitest Kids You Know, which I've noticed has a strong YouTube presence now, years after it ended, where they just keep uploading old skits with a title that alludes to some recent event that has an extremely loose connection to what goes on in the video, including a skit called Weapons is a Sequel, which has even less to do with anything that happened in Weapons than I expected, and I already had low expectations in that regard. With his follow-up to Barbarian, I can't really call it his sophomore effort because he also made the 2009 comedy Miss March, although I think he'd prefer it if we all decided that he didn't count. Anyway, with this, he's officially made himself known as an emerging master of horror. With his background in sketch comedy, we can probably consider him the white Canadian Jordan Peele. Fitting, since Peele apparently fired his managers after they couldn't get him the rights to produce the script. It's about an elementary school class where, late one night, all of the students except for one run away and never come back. The rest of it deals with the town as they try to make sense of what the hell happened. And it's told in a similar, unconventional narrative to Barbarian, through a bunch of stories that focus on one character. Except this one has a lot more of those individual stories than Barbarian. It looks like he was also able to go bigger with this one in other ways, with a bigger scope and bigger actors like Julia Gardner and Josh Brolin. And they all work. It's an intriguing mystery, and the journey to solve it is full of effective scares. There are unfortunately a few jump scares, but for the most part the tension is genuine. The point where it starts answering questions is particularly disturbing for reasons that I can't spoil, but it realistically alludes to something more than the fantastical situations that it actually portrays. And despite all the horror, it still has plenty of comic relief, including the whole end sequence, which really sugarcoats the ending before at the very last minute mentioning the less than happy aftermath. Honestly, the ending here is darker than Bring Her Back, and that hit of comedy before going there only makes the hit more. Also, the unconventional narrative makes the story more interesting and unpredictable. and despite all the stories and time shifts, it's never confusing. Also, the characters are less dumb than those in Barbarian. This has been a great year for horror, and this is still among the best of them. Kreger has done it again, establishing a new style for unconventionally told horror films that are never less than unpredictable.